Hand safety. 70% of those injured were not wearing gloves. Most of the other 30% were wearing gloves that were inadequate, damaged, or the wrong type for the hazard. We are each accountable to keep our hands safe. Understand the hazards, protect your hands. Outline, Section 1. At-risk behaviors, Section 2. Safe work practices. Section 3. Evaluate the task, Section 4. Select the right tool, Section 5. Use the right gloves, Section 1. At-risk behaviors. Using the wrong tool for the job, using a cutter as a screwdriver, using pliers when a wrench is needed, hammering with a tool other than a hammer, defeating safety devices on tools. Using your hand as a tool, using power tools on an unstable surface, handling known hazards without planning first, sharp objects, chemicals, tool-related hazards. Allowing poor housekeeping, failure to plan the work, failure to pay attention and keep your eyes on the task, failure to keep body parts out of the line of fire. Failure to sharpen or replace blades, necessitating additional force, failure to identify and wear proper PPE. Failure to maintain power tools. Unsafe cutting behaviors, cutting in awkward positions, cutting on unstable surfaces, cutting towards oneself. Section 2. Safe work practices. What is the most used tool in our industry? Hammer, screwdriver, crescent wrench, portable drill, skill saw, impact wrench, box cutter, knife. The most used tool in almost all workplaces, especially in US, is the human hand. Try driving without the normal use of the hands. Try writing without using your thumb. Try holding a tool with only 2 fingers. Try using tools with your other hand. Our hands are critical for normal function in the workplace, at home, and on the road. The hand is one of the most complex parts of your body. Movement of the tendons, bones, tissues, and nerves allows you to grip and do complex jobs. Without your hands, it is impossible to do routine simple tasks. Hand injuries are difficult to repair because of the complexity of the hand. After a hand injury, you may lose motion, dexterity, grip, sensation. Injuries to the hands, fingers, and arms are most often caused by cuts from knives or sharp edges, punctures from nails, staples, needles, or debris, bites or stings from insects, burns from extreme temperatures. Equipment, rotating parts. Pinch points, vibrating equipment. The first 2 lines of defense must always be eliminating the hazard completely, engineering controls such as using guards or safety switches. PPE should only be applied after first attempting to eliminate or reduce the hazard, engineering or administrative controls, or as a secondary measure of protection. Remember, PPE does not eliminate the hazard, it just reduces the injury potential or severity. Section 3. Evaluate the task. Always evaluate the task. Foresight all the time. What am I about to do? What could go wrong? What could be done to make it safer? What have I done to communicate the hazards? Job safety analysis or risk assessment. When the job involves hazardous materials or tasks. When the work is complex and involves multiple hazards. Whenever you think it will assist in identifying the safe way to work. Prevention involves 3 key elements. 1. Identifying the hazards. 2. Identifying preventive measures. 3. Implementing safety measures before starting the work. Safe work practices, PPE. Common types of prevention include wearing the correct type of glove, using push sticks, tongs, or other fixtures, using the right tool for the job and using it correctly, keeping hands out of harm's way by not placing hands under loads or in blind areas, in areas subject to being caught in between objects. The best safety device for your hands is your mind. Pay attention. Evaluate the hazards, apply preventive measures. Hand injury prevention requires pre-task planning. It is imperative that we choose the correct tool for the task, choose the correct PPE for the task, establish expectations for safe behavior, adhere to safe work behaviors while performing the task. Biological hazards. Biological hazards provides additional guidance. Use caution when moving debris or equipment which has been sitting for a long time. Never stick your hands in holes or blind or secluded places, and use care in uninhabited areas. Don't use scented soaps or perfumes, and consider wearing long-sleeve shirts and gloves. Leave insects and wildlife alone. If you encounter reptiles, leave them alone and stop work until the area is clear. If you encounter insect nests, remain clear of the area until they have been handled by a professional. Section 4. Selecting the right tools. Cutting tool selection. Never use dull blades. Do not use knives as screwdrivers. Cut away from your body. Do not use box cutters. Use a retracting safety knife. Do not use knives to strip wire or cable. Use the correct wire, cable, or coax stripper. The use of fixed open blade knives is prohibited. Prohibited cutting tools. Cutting blade disposal. Don't create a hazard. Blade collection containers work. Never put blades in trash unshielded. Approved insulated cutting tools. Meets requirement for electrical hot work. Powered hand saws and grinders. Use the correct saw for the job. Do not hold stock in your hand. Use sawhorse, vise, or other holding device. Use moderate pressure on saws to prevent blade failure. Thoroughly inspect tools before use. Keep blades sharp. Wear leather or mechanics gloves. Screwdrivers. Use the right size and type for the screw. Do not use screwdrivers as chisels or pry bars. Place objects on a flat surface or in a vise. Don't hold it in your hand. Don't use screwdrivers with chipped tips or loose handles. Wear leather or mechanics gloves. Hammers. Use the correct hammer for the job. Do not use hammers with splintered, cracked, or loose handles. Do not use hammers with rounded striking faces. Do not strike a hammer face with another hammer. Do not use a nail hammer claw as a pry bar. Do not hammer with the side of the hammer. Wear leather or mechanics gloves. Wrenches. Use the right size wrench. Pull on wrenches rather than pushing. Never use a cheater bar with a wrench to increase torque or leverage. Do not use pliers with worn grooves or crescent wrenches with worn or sprung jaws. Do not use pliers or crescent wrenches on over-tight bolts and nuts. Wear leather or mechanics gloves. Chisels. Do not use chisels with mushroomed heads. Use the correct chisel for the job. Never use a chisel as a pry bar. Use jackhammers for concrete breaking where possible. Use a safety chisel for masonry and other high-impact work. Wear leather or mechanics gloves. Other tool selection information. Hand tools. Portable equipment provides additional guidance. Choose tools that are designed to maximize safety. Use tools as designed and follow all manufacturer instructions. Unplug tools when not in use and before changing bits, blades, or other accessories. If tools vibrate excessively, wear mechanics gloves with vibration protection. Secure work. Never hold in your hand. Wear gloves unless they may become caught on rotating parts. Tool maintenance information. Keep tools sharp and guards in place. Unplug or lock out tools before changing blades or cutters. Wear leather or mechanics gloves unless they create a greater hazard, such as when operating a lathe or a grinder. Never wear gloves with straps or strings which may catch on moving parts. Section 5. Use the right gloves. Glove selection, construction. Leather or mechanics gloves are required for most construction-related activities, such as using hand tools, using power tools, handling material, handling guidelines, operating equipment. Wear gloves that include vibration protection, padding, when using equipment which produces vibration. Glove selection, material handling. Manual material handling provides guidance. Get help or use mechanical lifting devices when possible. Keep hands out of potential pinch point areas and use taglines if appropriate. Remove jewelry. Types of gloves required are leather or mechanics gloves when handling general material debris, cut-resistant gloves when handling sheet metal, glass, or material or equipment with sharp edges. Hand care. Avoid washing hands with solvents, harsh soaps, or abrasives. Clean and bandage cuts and abrasions. Keep them clean. Immediately remove embedded foreign materials. Wash hands immediately after using chemicals. Pay attention to possible infections and get immediate medical evaluation. Consider wearing cotton gloves under rubber gloves to reduce sweating. Glove care and inspection. Inspect gloves before use for tears, excessive wear, and punctures. Store in clean, dry location. Discard leather and cloth gloves if they become saturated with oil or other chemicals. Leak test chemical gloves by sealing the wrist and filling the glove with air. Leak test and inspect electrical gloves before each use. Store in protective bags. Assure they have current testing certification. Glove fit. Wear gloves that fit your hand. Gloves that are too small can tire your hands and cause injury from limiting circulation. Gloves that are too large are clumsy to work with and tend to catch on items or fall off. Cut-resistant gloves.